Welcome back to 101's ESPN Hit Squad. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney. We got a great guest on the hook right now. Scott Coker, former Strikeforce president. Scott, you out there? You with us?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
All right. We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Now, I know you were at the Shamrock Fighting Championships 15th anniversary uprising fights. I just wanted to get your thoughts and feelings on how that event went.
Well, I tell you, it was an exciting time. I think the venue is amazing. We saw some great fights, and I think the crowd, from what I can see, had a great time.
Well, Scott, I appreciate you coming down here, and I really, I think that the venue was good. I think that everything else was pretty first class. What did you think of Adam Sella's fight there at the very end and the big knockout at the end, the way to end the fights?
Yeah, I memean, he's definitely a kid that I think has some huge upside. And, I think that, to end the fight in a knockout like that in spectacular fashion, always makes it a good evening for the fans.
Is it what stood out with here besides your stay at the Four Seasons? Because I always give you trouble about it because you love it so much down there. What stood out with everything that when you were here in St. Louis that you like so much about the city?
I'll tell you, when we were doing fights, we would always stop in St. Louis, I think once or twice a year. And really, a lot of it is because of our relationship, Jesse, and you're a great promoter. I think you're doing a great job over there. And, it's nice to see that MMA is such a hotbed in that region. St. Louis is a fantastic town. It's got great restaurants. The people are friendly. I do love that hotel down there. So I'm going to continue to stay down there. But as far as, the overall city, it's just a fun city. Got a lot of great friends. And, to me, I'll definitely be back and keep supporting, Shamrock Promotions.
Scott Coker, the former Strikeforce president, is on the hook with us right now. Scott, big fight coming up. You got Silva versus Weidman. Give us your thoughts and feelings on that one.
Boy, I tell you, you know what? I don't think you could go and bet against Anderson Silva, because this guy has just proven time and time again that he can bring down the young buck, and I think this could be a great fight. I think Weidman is a great talent, but at the end of the day, I think Anderson Silva is going to find a way to win.
I was telling Chad that earlier on air. I said it's hard to vote to go against Anderson Silva, but there's someone that can do it. Someone like a Chris Weidman that nobody knows. This kid could become a superstar overnight if he ends up beating him.
Yeah, and you know what? And I agree, because I've seen a couple of his fights. I saw him fight live a couple of times. But at the end of the day, you know what? When you're a crafty veteran like Anderson, who's been fighting, it's back since the Pride days. I think that until he gets knocked down, I'm going to be I'm going to be voting for him, and I'm going to be rooting for him, and I'm going to be saying that I think he's going to win the fight, because like I said, when you're the guy, everybody's trying to chop you down, and time after time, he's gotten close a couple of times, but he's always managed to find a way to win, and to me, I think that's what's going to happen next Saturday.
Well, respectively, I disagree with you. I really do. I'm going to go with the underdog here. I think that Weidman can actually beat him, and I know I'm going on a limb, but at the same time, I think it's a great fight. I really do. But I don't know how you can really bet against Anderson Silva, but at the same time, with someone like Weidman, I think that everyone's bet against Silva for years, and he knows how to win. He knows how to win. But I'm going to go with Weidman just to go with the underdog, because I know who my partner's going with here. Scott, what is your plans for the future, and tell us what you got going on?
Well, you know what? I'm trying to get my slice fixed in my golf game. So
nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, here's the thing, guys. I am employed of the UFC, and they've been very good to me, and I'm fully supporting them 100%. And right now it's on to the next fight, and I'm just going to keep, as far as trying to find when I can find some new talent or find some things that I can help out with, such as a lot of the fighters that were under contract, helping them with those relationships, and basically, whatever they need help with, I'm there to help and support.
And I just got, you were at the, like we said, you were at the event on June 15th. And what suggestions would you have for Shamrock Fighting Championships after you saw the show?
Well, I tell you, I mean, first of all, I always think it starts with a presentation of a show, and I've always believed that that's really the key to, the first-time fan coming in and experiencing MMA. It's important to have a great presentation, and I think, Jesse, you guys did a great job because the venue was amazing, the production was great. You guys had some great screens above the cage, and it's a perfect intimate setting, to watch fights. So to me, the presentation was great. I would say just keep on building, the local talent because, there's a lot of great fighters, in a lot of the small towns across the country. And I don't mean St. Louis is a small town by any means, but, there's a lot of talent there. You guys cultivate it, build it, and you know what? And then before you know it, you're going to have the next Frank Shamrock or the next Kung Lee or the next, Gilbert Melendez or the next Daniel Cormier or Ronda Rousey. They're out there, and I'm telling you, you guys are promoting them now, and really it's just going to be a matter of time before they blossom, and I think it's a great opportunity for the fighters in that region, and I know you guys are doing a lot of fights, so, to me, I'm a fan, and I'm going to keep supporting it.
Well, Scott, I appreciate everything. Thanks for all your support throughout the years, and we look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Scott Coker, a class act. Just really a guy who's got his finger on the pulse of mixed martial arts.
Absolutely, and I think that what he just said is exactly how I feel with mixed martial arts. Is if you're going to do it, and if you're going to do it as a promoter, if you're going to do it a show, do it right. Because guess what? The guys that are going out there and doing these little shows, a lot of first-time MMA fans go to these shows and they see these shows and they think, okay, well, that's mixed martial arts. That's mixed martial arts. So they go to these and then they experience the people smoking in the audience, or it's just a extremely rough crowd where you don't want to bring your family, you don't want to bring your mother to or bring your wife to. Sometimes that happens, and that's my biggest pet peeve as being putting a guy that's put on shows through years is if you're going to do a nice presentation where you can bring your family, you can bring your friends and feel comfortable. And there's a lot of the people out there that are doing these fights that are not doing them right and doing the presentation. And that's actually one thing that really bugs me, because if you're going to do it correctly. And do it where people are going to come out and they feel comfortable and I feel it's a safe atmosphere. And if you're going to come to a Shamrock show here in St. Louis, I can promise you this, you're going to walk away feeling like high energy. You're going to walk away with, feel like, wow, that was professionally done.
And on top of that, I think you kind of were alluding to it, that it can be a family event, and that when you go to the Lumiere Casino or places like that, you can bring your family with you, and you don't have to worry about them, like you say, people smoking in the audience, curse words being screamed out, offending your mother or mother-in-law, whoever you bring. And mixed martial arts is good. We've had plenty of stories of kids getting into it, who were getting bullied or who were going down the wrong path, maybe drugs, and their life was going the wrong way, getting into mixed martial arts and turning it around.
I had a parent, actually, I spoke to yesterday. It was probably one of the most rewarding phone calls I've ever taken. And the guy says to me, he says, my kid was an Xbox kid. He was an Xbox kid. He was overweight. He was getting bullied at school. And he says to me, Jesse, you know what? It's changed my kid's life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And now a father of two, I understand that, if you can change a kid's life that way, it means so much more to you. And if you can go out and this guy says, man, my kid is confident now. He doesn't play Xbox. All he wants to do is shadow box. He's like, all he really wants to do is shadow box, and he wants to protect he's like, if something would ever happen to mom, I could protect her now. And to hear that, the kid's 12 years old. Obviously, he can't protect his mother at this point. But for him, his mindset to be thinking like
Absolutely.
that, I got to tell you something. That's priceless, man. And if you could change a kid's life like that with these people with the attitude, discipline, and respect, it doesn't go any further.
And it kind of all came around, but that right there, you go to a Shamrock show, you're going to get those type of people around you. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like you say, it's
the professional mixed martial arts of St. Louis.
Right.
It is what it is. It's the professional mixed martial arts of St. Louis, but it also represents St. Louis as a whole, as a city. And we had three TV stations there. Some people with a lot of power in the mixed martial arts area, and everybody was like, wow, it's first class all the way.
And Scott Coker, he was there. Say no more right there. Absolutely. Well, we're going to be teeing up the UFC 162 coming up in our next segment. Thank you for watching us on 101sports.com.